and welcome to Solent Sports News. I'm Maria Rees with your 4:30 Bulletin. England manager Gareth Southgate has said that he's conflicted about his future, having found large parts of the last 18 months difficult. This comes after a heartbreaking 2-1 defeat against France on Saturday, which saw the Three Lions crash out of the World Cup. Southgate has not made any decisions yet about his future, claiming he needs time to review and reflect. Our correspondent Malar was on the streets of Southampton talking to English and French fans about the game.
Oh, and Harry Kane cannot answer the call. French jubilation. The final score in the Albert Stadium. England 1, France 2.
England are out of the World Cup after a 2-1 loss to France in the quarterfinals in Qatar. Despite a strong second half and a successful penalty from captain Harry Kane, the Three Lions failed to score a goal. Here we are at Southampton, talking to people about what happened.
Well, in my opinion, I think we actually played well. I think we undeservedly lost. I feel referee, in terms of the first goal, it was a foul in my opinion. And I just feel if he banged on Grealish and the likes of people like that, we would have probably got through. I don't think the blame deserves to be on Kane. I feel like it's everybody in general. You can't just blame one person. And I feel like Southgate, the substitution should have made quicker. To change the game in terms of the midfield, he should have banged on Grealish earlier and likes of that, yeah.
I mean, they gave a good performance, I think. I know there's a lot of people talking about the ref, and you know, as an English person, I might be biased saying that he was a bit unfair. But obviously, the penalty is unfortunate, but that's going to happen, isn't it? But it is what it is. We've been doing relatively well in the last few years, so you can't be too angry. But it is a big disappointment.
Well, I still think when you go to the next World Cup, like the likes of Foden, Grealish are all going to be under 30 still. So we've still got a massive future in terms of England. So, I'm looking forward to the Euros. I still think we've got a chance of probably winning it.
I know some people aren't too happy with, forgotten his name. Yeah, Southgate, sorry. But, you know, you're always going to get criticism, whatever you do. So I think, yeah, just stick it out, keep going, and hopefully just get a better result.
French fans watching the World Cup quarterfinal in Qatar react to their win over England and securing a place in the semi-finals.
Yeah, that was a good game. That was very intense, you know, from the beginning to the end. The English team, they put a lot of pressure, and we managed to survive, so it's good for us.
I believe France played very good today. They deserve to win. The England coach did a lot of mistakes. He was late for the substitutions actually for Rashford. But France deserve it. Frankly, I was worried because they started playing football, quality football, let's say, and they were trying their best to score the second goal.
France take on Morocco on this Tuesday, which is the semi-final of the Qatar World Cup 2022, with the North African side looking to continue their historic run at the World Cup. Let's see who wins.
With the World Cup semi-finals just around the corner, I'm joined now by our football correspondent Ed Jones, who will give us some insight on the matchups.
Thanks, Maria. First up, Tuesday night's semi-final. A place is on offer for our previous World Cup runners-up. All the headlines will be focused on how it's the last dance for Lionel Messi, but a determined Croatia team are ready to right the wrongs of their defeat in 2018 in Moscow. In Wednesday's clash, France take on Morocco. Ramone La Coupe came blasting through the PA system after Le Bleus' win over England in the quarter-finals, and memories of 2018 will motivate Mbappe and co further. Morocco, being the story of the tournament so far, have become the first African semi-finalists, beating Spain and Portugal. Back to you, Maria.
Thank you, Ed. After a disappointing start to the season, Southampton Football Club have been preparing hard during their break due to the World Cup. Our reporter Kyle is outside St Mary's to tell us more of the preparations during their time off.
Yes, Maria, I'm out here outside St Mary's in the cold, but however, the first team have been out away in Spain for some mid-World Cup training. Earlier today, I spoke to Alfie House of the Daily Echo to see what the team have been focusing on.
Focus is clear, really, isn't it? His focus is just to get to know his players, get to know who he is, he's working with. He's had one game as manager, but that was after 2 or 3 days at most. So he didn't really know his players. It was One thing that surprised people has been there's been no friendlies.
The first team. No friendlies for most of the first team, but 2 players off Southampton were at the World Cup, Armel Bella-Kotchap and Salisu. However, they didn't make it far in the World Cup. But what are their preparations been like now, coming back from the World Cup?
I don't think either of them progressed out of the group stage, but they still get awarded a week or so off, just like the players got before they came back in for Andalusia. The players had 2 weeks off. So I think Salisu and Armel Bella-Kotchap have just been given that week off. They posted today that Salah's still recharging, as they put it. So maybe they'll come back in today, maybe they'll come back in tomorrow, and then you've got sort of 5 or 6 days to work with them before you have to play a game.
So Southampton have got their next match in 9 games against Lincoln City in the League Cup. Southampton are wanting to go far to get Nathan Jones his first win as manager. Then 5 days later on Boxing Day, they're at home here to Brighton. And hopefully the home crowd in the Premier League can get Nathan Jones his first ever win with Southampton. Back to you, Maria.
Thank you, Kyle. Southampton FC women's team has been knocked out of the Vitality FA Cup as Bristol City triumphed in a 2-0 win on Sunday. A slow start and lack of possession from the Saints meant City took an early lead at the Robins High Performance Centre. After the match, technical coach Lauren Phillips acknowledged that the girls needed to be more aggressive in their play. A former double Olympic champion has survived a plane crash. David Rudisha, who won gold at the London 2012 Olympics in the 800 metres, was unharmed as the plane went down in Kenya. The 4 other people in the plane have gone to hospital with minor injuries. The Pakistan Cricket Board have released an official statement this morning about pulling out of the World Cup in India next year. India were reluctant to travel to Pakistan for the Asia Cup due to security concerns, but the PBC has promised India full security on their visit on enemy soil in 16 years. Political tensions and threats continue to make India's stance unclear. England registered a famous victory as they beat Pakistan by 26 runs in the second test. To talk more about the win, we have cricket correspondent Sid in the studio with me.
Thank you, Maria. Yes, it was a famous victory as England won a test series in Pakistan after 22 long years, thanks to some brilliant bowling by Mark Wood, who took 2 crucial wickets this morning to spark a collapse as he helped England to secure an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match series. And Captain Ben Stokes seemed to be delighted with his side's performance. If we talk about the match as a whole, England batted first, scoring 281 in their first innings, followed by Pakistan's 202 all-out in the second, giving them a healthy 79-run lead. Helped by Harry Brooks' century in the third innings, Pakistan was given a target of 354 runs by the visitors, which they failed to chase. With the last game to be played from 17th December, it will be interesting to see if Stokes' men can enforce a historic clean sweep. That's it from me. Maria, over to you.
Thank you, Sid. The MMA community were left shocked this weekend after fan favourite Paddy Pimblett pulled out a surprising win. Undefeated in the UFC, Pimblett took on Jared Gordon in the co-main event of UFC 282. The fight went all 3 rounds, but the fans were left confused when the judges handed him a unanimous decision win. Following the sacking of Eddie Jones last week, Saracens fly half Owen Farrell has described the decision as unbelievably disappointing. The RFU parted with the 62-year-old after a run of 5 wins from 12 tests this calendar year. Northern Ireland's Claire Targett only went and came in first place at the Boccia Rio Championships. Our reporter Peter Langdon has more on the story.
Northern Ireland's very own Claire Targett won gold at the Boccia Rio Championships at the weekend. Went up against Rebecca Del Toro of El Salvador and won 7-1 in the final. The 27-year-old won her very first BC2 Boxing Championship medal.
Good job, Claire. Come on. Get in there.
Let's listen to her reaction of the final.
I'm in shock and delighted to have won the first BC2 female at the World Championships. And yeah, I'm buzzing for team tomorrow. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm buzzing for team tomorrow with David and Will and Sarah. So we go again tomorrow. But thank you to everyone at home who's been texting and sending support. Yeah, this is, I guess, for Northern Ireland.
Now the individual competition is over, she now turns her head over to the BC1, BC2 team and pairs competition, where they won against Canada 11-0 yesterday and now face the Netherlands later on today. To see all the results, head over to Boccia UK's Facebook, Twitter or on their website. This is Peter Linton for Solent Sport News.
With Southgate potentially leaving the England camp, the players may have found a new recruit in the form of a feline friend. Dave the cat was adopted by players John Stone and Kyle Walker whilst in Qatar. While the World Cup didn't come home, Dave the cat did. And as he boarded the plane from Qatar back to the UK, he boarded the plane back to the UK. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for today. From everybody here in the studio, we wish you a very Merry Christmas. Join us next year for more Solent Sports News. Goodbye.